Hey guys, so today I'm going to teach you how to make pizza dough. Pizza is one of my favorite foods and I know you guys love it too. Do you remember a little while ago we were learning about states of matter in our classroom? And we made bread? We did a couple experiments with yeast. Do you remember how we filled up a bottle with some water and some sugar and some yeast and we put a balloon over it? What did the yeast make? Remember? It made gas, and that gas filled up our balloon. That was pretty cool. So then we used yeast to make bread, and we saw how the yeast and the gas that it makes when you mix it with ingredients makes the bread rise, and it was so fluffy and yummy. Well, today we're going to use our ingredients and we're going to do something similar. We're going to make pizza. Pizza is super easy. You need 4 things. You need flour, yeast, salt, and water. That's all I'm going to do today to show you how to mix it up. So I have here 4 cups of flour. You can see I measured it out to the 4 cup, and this is just all-purpose flour in case your mom and dad are wondering. So I mixed my flour into my bowl, you can see. And then I have 1 teaspoon of yeast and 1 teaspoon of salt. All right, you can see it in my bowl there. Now, you ready? I'm going to use this cool whisk, and I'm going to mix up the yeast, salt, and flour. And once it's all mixed up really good, I'm going to pour in some warm water, okay? This is 2 cups, and you can see I measured it out here, okay? So I'm just adding my warm water. I'm going to take my spatula, and I'm going to mix that warm water in to my flour, and it should make my dough. Now, I don't know if you guys remembered, but once we mixed our dough all up in our classroom when we made our bread, we had to do something. We had to let it rest. And while it rested with the yeast in there, it did something, it rose. Remember how it got bigger? This was a while ago, so it's okay if you forget. So that dough rose really high because we added what ingredient that makes the gas, that makes it get all big? That's right, the yeast. So I am going to let this dough do just that. I'm going to let it rise. It's all sticky. All right. So, do you see my dough? It's all mixed in there together. Okay? All I'm going to do is take a towel and lay it across my bowl, and I'm going to let this rise for about an hour to an hour and a half. And then I'm just going to put it into the fridge overnight. So we're going to come back and we're going to check on our dough in about an hour and see how it's turned out. Hey guys, welcome back. So we are going to work on our pizza. Mrs. Grimm's family is going to have this pizza for dinner tonight. So do you remember yesterday we made our dough? We used flour, salt, yeast, and warm water, and we mixed it all together. Well, we let our dough rise for a little while in the warmth, and then we let it rise even more overnight in the fridge. And so the dough's big, right? Remember, we did that experiment to learn about yeast and how it makes this gas that makes the bread dough rise. So the dough is risen, and you can see little bubbles, if you look closely, in the dough. That's from the yeast, that's from the gas or the air that it's making, right? Well, now we're going to work on some of our toppings. So cheese. Cheese is delicious on pizza. What else do we like on pizza? Mr. Grimm likes pepperoni best. Mrs. Grimm likes some spinach and some mushrooms and olives and stuff. I don't really like pepperoni on my pizza. So we're going to make our pizza tonight. But one thing all of our pizzas need is pizza sauce, right? Who knows what pizza sauce is made out of? Well, it's made out of tomatoes. So I have a can of tomatoes here because the tomatoes from my garden aren't ready yet. So I just have a can, and these tomatoes are peeled. So here is a nice peeled tomato, you can see. This is a salad. Is pizza sauce a salad? How am I gonna spread this around? Ooh, I'm gonna have to turn this salad into a liquid to make it a sauce, right? Well, we know one way we can do that is by melting it, by heating it up. Remember how you can melt chocolate from a candy bar into a liquid, or how you can melt ice? There are all sorts of ways to turn solids into liquids. And so we know that one way we can do that is heating it up. If I cooked these tomatoes, they would turn into a liquid. But we're gonna actually do this without cooking. We know, because you guys have all had fruit before, fruit is full of juices, isn't it? So these are some juicy tomatoes. And actually all we're gonna do today is crush them up. And when we crush them up, combined with all the juices, you're just going to get a tasty tomato sauce. So one way to crush it is to just use your fork. Squish. And you can see all the juices coming out, all right? So you can use all sorts of mashers to make your sauce and just crush up your tomatoes. I'm gonna go the easy way. Some of you guys have seen this in my class, but I'm just gonna use my food processor. And these blades are gonna crush up the tomatoes for me. So I'm gonna put my tomatoes in there. And I'm gonna add some more tomatoes from my jar. I'm gonna put the lid on. And from some of our adventures in cooking, you might remember this little device. So all I'm going to do is push this handle down and those blades start spinning. And those blades are gonna crush up the tomatoes for me. And we're gonna make this nice and gooey and saucy. Take a peek. Oh, do you see how it's getting all crushed up into a sauce? I'm going to do a little bit more. What do you guys think? Is it looking liquidy? Oh, Mrs. Grimm's spilling some. Is it looking all liquidy? Just about ready. I'm gonna add the last of the tomatoes from this jar, and we will be good to go, guys. All right, guys. So I crushed up all of our tomatoes. I'm just gonna need to take the blades out, and I'm going to dump it into the bowl. All right, that was a super saucy, liquidy tomato sauce. So I turned those solid tomatoes into a tasty pizza sauce and liquid by crushing them up with all of their juices in them. All right, guys, so here's my pizza dough. So I just took a piece of my dough. It'll be just a nice size for a pizza, especially just for me or me and my sister to share. And all I'm gonna do is stretch it out. It's a little bit sticky, so you can see I have some flour on my hands, and there's some flour on the table in front of me. I'm gonna just keep adding a little bit of flour so it doesn't stick to me, but not a lot. And I'm gonna keep stretching it out until I get it into a nice circle or whatever shape I wanna make the pizza in. Maybe you wanna do Minnie Mouse. Maybe you want to try and do a square or triangle. just keep stretching your pizza out till you're ready, until you like it. Once it's all stretched out, guys, you can add your sauce. Yum. Just a little bit of sauce, not too much. Spread it all around. Add some cheese and whatever other toppings you want to your pizza. I think we're almost there. Your personal size pizza. Almost ready. All right, guys. Once you have your pizza shaped how you want it, all stretched out, you've added your sauce and you've added your cheese or any other toppings that you like, ask your mom and dad to help you bake it off, and then enjoy your tasty snack.